Hey YouTube, Jeff at Tundra Chronicles. Today, let's talk about power in the bed of your truck, how to do it without splicing into any factory wiring harness. Okay guys, here is what we're going to be installing today. We have two sets of extension cables. One's 25 feet, one's 12 feet. I got the 12 footer first thinking I could use that one, but I would like to have more room, so I instead got a 25 footer, which I know will reach from the battery to the bed of the truck. Plus I have some extra length on here, and I'll show you this thing in just a second. So you have these two cables here made by Battery Tender, which are really great construction here, so these are going to be really good to use. I have this right here, which comes with this kit. It's actually made for a motorcycle, so this just goes on the battery, and then you have a connection right here, so I can plug this thing in right here. This is waterproof, so you can see that this has the same Battery Tender connection right here. So this is a waterproof 12 volt and 5 volt setup. So it has a cover, you open it up. So here you can plug in a cigarette lighter adapter for more USBs, or you could use a cooler that has a fan in it, what have you, so things like that. This turns it on and off. And then you have a couple of USBs here for charging phones or batteries for cameras, things of that nature. And then when you're not using it, you can turn it off and close this up. The whole entire goal here for this is to set up the truck to have power in the bed, but what I don't want to do is cut into any of the factory wiring harnesses. So that's my goal. These are going to get me from the battery to the back of the truck. This is going to hook up to the battery right here, and this will be in the back, hung on the side over here, and this is what's going to give me my power in the back for doing whatever it is that I need to do. So that's our setup. This is the stuff that I'm going to install. This just explains a little bit of what this thing is right here. So it's a waterproof dual USB output adjustable handlebar. Well, we're not going to use the handlebar thing. It's just going to be sitting there. I may use a couple of the pieces that sit below, but we'll see how that goes once I get the install done. Right now, the first thing I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to install this onto the battery, and then I'm going to start running the 25-foot cable here from the bed from the battery to the back of the truck. So that'll take me a little bit, but I'll kind of show you what I do as I go along, and we'll start up in the engine bay, things like that, and move it along. All right, guys, we'll see you in a bit. Hey guys, Jeff at Tundra Chronicles. All right, so I am running the wire. Just wanted to give you guys a quick update on that. So here's what we're doing. What I've done so far is right here, I've attached the negative and the positive, and it still fits under the cap here. So I just had this running off to the side so I can still pop this thing back on. And then that pops right into place. Then you have the negative over here. This, once I'm done finishing up, I'm going to clean this up and zip tie it over here, but I want to leave it loose while I'm still installing the wire. I use a 12mm socket here just to pop these two little top bolts off, which was easy enough. So what I've done, I have the 25-foot cable. So I have attached here. I'm running it down back behind the firewall over here. Just going to run down the side, okay? And I've got it running over here. I've got it coming down under this cross member under here. Once I pull it down, I pulled it all the way down, and eventually there's some different stuff up here, up behind here. I'm just going to zip tie it to a couple of these, just to keep the cables in place as you come down the cross member. So then, hard to see here. Let's see, where is it at? Now there's a little plug in the bed here that I'm going to take the cable through, the wire through. But it's easy. So I've got a 25-footer here, right? And all I did was take the other 12-footer that I'm going to leave in the bed of the truck, just in case I need to extend it out in the back. I just plugged it in right here. So I didn't even have to tape it or anything to be able to feed it into the back of the truck. So I just have a little drain plug here. And so as I plug it, boom, pops up. Perfect. That's all I needed it to do. So the thing's just going to come on up here. And now what I'm going to do is just get into the truck and I'm going to zip tie it to do a couple of those different points so that the cable doesn't move around at all underneath. You'll never see it. And then this tube here for my tonneau cover here just pops right into place. So eventually what I'm going to do is I'm just going to feed this up underneath the frame rail. I'm just going to zip tie it up there so that it's just kind of up and out of the way, stuff like that. But that's where we're at so far, and we'll see how it's done once I've finished up, and I'll give you my thoughts on it. All right. Alrighty, guys, the project is done. Let me just show you what I've done here. So here's I'll just start at the front and I'll work my way back. So I've attached the leads here to the battery, and the nice thing about this also is that it is fused. So it's fused, and I ran this all the way back. So the nice thing about this is I can disconnect this and plug it in and just leave it sitting here. I don't even have to have it plugged in, so there's no battery draw whatsoever. But the other nice thing about this is with this connector you've got all kinds of options. I can have my 12-foot cord come off the front if you need battery power from the front, and I can also do it from the rear. So that's really nice. So what I did is I just zip tied it right up here so that this lead just sits right here. Ran it right down the bottom, there. Hard to see where it is. But anyways, it runs right along down the bottom there of the side of the wheel well, and then right out the back of right down the frame, right underneath the frame. Which you can't even see it barely. It's gonna sit right up there against the frame rail, and at a couple of points, I just zip tied it. So it's sitting there loose. I don't want it to be all tight and everything, but it's just to make sure that it does not move from the location. And I zip tied it there. Just runs right along the tube, right along the top of the frame rail. It's not going to go anywhere. I attached it here. I left it loose here as well. And this runs right up into the back, in the bed of the truck, through that drain hole right up there. So then, from the bed of the truck, back here, I pulled it up and right through this drain hole right here. Pulled it up and I just zip tied it here into the back of this. I don't want to attach it to this because sometimes I take this out and stuff, so that's okay. And I left this loose. And then along the back here, underneath this frame rail here, is where I have this sitting. So I have some zip ties also right here, just to leave this, just to make sure this sits up in here the way I want it. And so it gives me some slack. But it keeps it up there nice and tight if I want to, so it's not going to move around at all or get in my way. And then I just have the rest of the lead sitting right here. So you have a little extra space here, right? Got a little extra room there, so I can, take this. You got plenty of room to get it to all different sides of the bed of the truck, and so you have plenty of room. So that's the nice thing about the 25-foot cord, is it gives you a little extra length at the back, so it keeps on coming out to here. So you're about that far out. So the 12-footer won't quite do it for you. I mean it'll work and all, but I just wanted a little extra length for a little more options. So the options. Now what can you do with this? There's all kinds of things you can do with this. With this particular type of a connector, I've got another 12-footer here. So I could go another 12 feet out the back of the truck if I need power. I can plug this in if I want to have some charging power in the bed of the truck, or a refrigerator, or what have you. I have a compressor here, just in case I need to blow up tires. Now the only problem with the compressor is, the one that I got, you got to hook it up to battery power. Well, you know what? No problem. Look right here. This is a little lead And look what that is. That is a connector that plugs right into that. Now, is it ideal? Not necessarily. I mean, you're going to have open leads there. You can have some open leads over here if you need to use it. I only use this in an emergency scenario if I have a flat tire on a trailer or something like that and I have to plug it in. Fine, I'm going to do that. And I can manage that with that. So I don't think that that's a real big deal. Now, eventually, should I replace this with just a lead that'll plug into that? Sure, that would be cool. That just costs money, and I don't use it that much. It's more of a emergency purposes. So, am I going to do that? I don't know. We'll see down the road. But I'm not going to snip off the ends and rewire it and anything like that. When this right here will work just fine. And like I said, you've got another 12 feet here that you can come off the back of the truck. You have another 12 feet here that you come off the front of the truck. So you could plug this in, plug that in, and plug that in, and you've got an extra 12 feet coming off the front of the truck if you need to help somebody pump up a tire and your truck is only pointing in the front, from the front. So, to me, this little project was a great project. It was not expensive, and I will put links in where I got all this stuff from. It all came off of Amazon. It was inexpensive, less than $100, and so I mean, but I'll put links in the descriptions of what everything cost. I think this thing was like $30. The 12-footer was maybe $12, and I think the 25-footer was $20 or $22 or something like that. So you're talking 30, 20, so there's 50, so maybe, you know, 60 or 70 bucks or something like that. But the options that it gives you, and the fact that I did not tap into the wiring harness at all, I think is huge. So it was a real nice, easy project. There was no drilling involved. There was no tapping of any wires or anything of that nature. So, if you guys want to do a project like this, it's really simple. It's a great project. And like I said, it just gives you all kinds of power options. Because, you know, now I have this thing to come off the front of me here, and I have another 12 feet to come off the other end. I could get another 25-foot cord, all kinds of stuff. It just gives you a lot of options. So I really, really like that. And again, just the fact that I did not tap into the factory wiring harness is just a huge win for me, because I don't like doing that if I don't have to. Anyways, so that's the end of the project. I'm just going to button everything back up and call it good. If you guys have questions about the project, let me know, and we'll see you on the other side. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody, and we'll talk to you again soon.